Well, it's 3 in the morning and I'm in Terre Haute. So I've still got 5 more minutes I have to wait. That's what we got for the day. And I'm probably going to use every bit of those. So let's get our pre-trip done and get going. On the weekend here, sometimes freight gets spotty. I think it's that way everywhere. But what ends up happening is sometimes you just have to take what's available. And sometimes what's available isn't ideal. However, it does put you in some good places. But you got to figure out how to make your hours work with it. And now, I do one thing that people say I shouldn't do. And that's I always do my pre-trip off duty. Because with vlogs, getting them edited if something goes wrong is a lot of trouble. You don't want to sit there and start your clock and then find out you have a serious problem and then destroy your whole clock. I know they say you're not supposed to do that, and I get behind the spirit of it, but sometimes just living in reality is a lot more. Yeah, sometimes you just have to live in reality. And there we go. That is the longest 2 minutes of your life. Now, I got enough to finish out this particular load. But what happens when you get stacked on for a weekend? Well, I got stacked on this weekend. I had a load, then they put a load on me, and then they put another load on me. Thankfully, the second 2 loads are not time sensitive. So what we're going to do today is we're going to finish out this load, which I have 6 more hours to do. So I should have about 9 hours and 45 minutes left on my clock. And then I got to figure out if I can make it all the way with the next load back to where I got to go. So this is a lot of figuring on the fly. I've already talked to dispatch. These aren't time sensitive, thankfully. So we're going to get out of here and finish up the pre-trip on the fuel island, clean the windows, and we'll get out of here. The weird wrinkle is that, you know, you can't bank time like you used to. A minute lost is a minute lost. So you kind of almost have to act like what you're doing, even if you got 50 hours, you got to be thinking 4 days ahead. And I know you're saying, well, I don't know what I'm doing 4 days ahead. That right there is why. It's kind of makes it backwards. You don't figure out how to do it on the back end. You got to figure out how to preemptively do it before you know what you're doing. And it's made this whole experience a little different. Now, getting out of Terre Haute always sucks. Kind of why I decided to do it. I had an hour and 20 minutes left on my clock last night, and I could have made it up to Oakwood technically, but I would have made it up to Oakwood about 8:30 at night on a Saturday night. Saturday nights are weird for truck stops. They're either going to be packed to the nines or really empty. And this was actually pretty empty tonight. So I didn't know if I'd find a place to park up there. That's one of those things you have to think about. So I went ahead and just stopped here, man. It's a new Love's. I mean, it's about a year old, but it's nice. So I'm going to put you down. I'm going to wait till light, and we'll talk more about this when I get parked or stopped a little later. Y'all have fun. And this section of lights up here is why we all want to leave early. Oh, here they go. Here they go. They're all going green. Except that one. Oh, please go green. Oh, there we go. You get caught in this during rush hour, and this is a nightmare. Oh, they're turning red again. So, let's see if we can make it through, and maybe we can hit this last one. We'll turn green by the time we get there. Stoplights in Terre Haute are, especially that stretch. Ooh, it just went green. Especially that stretch is an absolute nightmare during the day. It's hard enough to get up to 70 in Terre Haute during the day because everybody's tripping the lights from both sides. But at night, I've gotten lucky. I haven't had to stop at one light. So, yep, they're all red again. So, I'm glad about that. So I took the opportunity to stop in Rochelle and wash the truck. It came out all right. We had to make a couple of stops. I didn't have to make one, I chose to, and I took advantage of the truck wash. But when you're dealing with your hours, try to combine multiple things into one stop. The E-log doesn't make it easy, but there's no sense of burning your clock up unnecessarily. If you need fuel and you're going to spend the night somewhere and you're going to fill up at that place, you're not going to do a pre-trip in the morning for 15 minutes and then do another 15 minutes for fueling. Combine the two. That tends to help. A lot of times I've found that if you put it in yard move instead of on duty, it'll allow you to move around the truck stop, and you're not going to be burning your clock or your drive time because on duty will kick it to drive like anything else. But yard move will allow you to move around. Just some of those little tricks. So we're gonna sit there and get going. One of the things that we're gonna have to really look at though is how's traffic flowing. My route yesterday involved me looking at the map and time and figuring out which was going to be not the shortest amount of time and the most economical for my route. Where could I move the fastest? And when you're short on time, always consult that. The thing is, time is time. And you're going to burn it this way, you're going to burn it that way. So you need to try to figure out how can you burn the least amount of it and get everything you need done because like I said, you're not getting any more of it. I'm down to 11 hours and 27 minutes on my 70. I've still got to go up to central Wisconsin and then turn around and head back to Sioux Falls, and that's not going to happen today, but it's probably early tomorrow morning. Thankfully, like I said, I got time. So this is where a little bit of planning comes in. So according to my hours, I have enough time to get this dropped, get my next load picked up, and get to where I need to deliver. So we're probably going to have to do a reset. Now, a reset can be not a bad thing, especially if you started early in the morning. Now here's the neat thing about a reset. 34 hours is 34 hours. So if you end up getting shut down at 2 or 3 in the morning, by the next afternoon, so it's not like I get shut down at 4 in the morning. By the next afternoon at 2 in the afternoon, I've got my 34 in. So you may not even really miss a day. and you ain't got to sit around unnecessarily. That's what I'm planning for. If I can get to Sioux Falls early enough, I'm going to have my reset in. Now, here's the other thing. If I can't make it all the way there, I'm probably going to do a reset here in Wisconsin, and then pick up my load late Monday, early Tuesday, and deliver it Tuesday afternoon. Now, I've already talked to the load planners and dispatch. They're fine with this. The load I'm picking up is not time sensitive. It's not critical. I told him it might be Tuesday if things don't work out. He was fine with that. So, when we get to where I'm delivering this stop, I'm going to stop, map out all the time. Got to put your deadhead in too. And then how long it's going to take me to get where I want to be. Now, this is the interesting thing about doing a reset. I'm in a unique position because I can do a reset in about 3 pretty cool spots. So if you're going to do it and it's along the way, sometimes it doesn't have to be on one end or the other. I prefer it to be, but sometimes in the middle, you can actually have a lot of fun in the middle. Okay, so we got stopped for the day. Made it to Austin, Minnesota. I was going to make it to Albert Lea, but I figured I wasn't going to do anything in Albert Lea I wouldn't do here. So, why get off I-90 if I don't have to? So, let me show you the clock. So, we're down to 5:11 on my 70. That's what I got on my shift. That's what I got drive time. And that's just my 8-hour break. I try to keep this thing clean, and it doesn't stay clean. That's better. All right, that's better. So if you scroll up, you see I'm not picking up anything tomorrow. Nothing. So I don't start picking up any hours till Monday night at midnight, and that's pretty lame. So tomorrow, which is Monday, I got a plan. My plan is to get up dog early, drive as fast as I can into Sioux Falls, and do exactly what I talked about. Go in early, get started early on my restart early, leave out tomorrow afternoon. So we'll see what happens there. Well, it's morning. We got that much time left, and we're rolling to our destination, which will leave me about an hour and a half. So we made it to Sioux Falls here. Busy doing my laundry. Yay, laundry bags. So when you get stuck with this kind of hours, this is where things can go either way. So this is what I'm getting tomorrow. 11 hours and 8 minutes tomorrow. That's a good day. We're going to be picking up 9 hours, but the next day is 5:32. That's not a bad thing. The next day is 11:06. That's not a bad thing. And the next day is 7:14. That's not a bad thing either. Now, why this is completely on the edge is because I only have an hour and 53 minutes today. So if something popped today within an hour, I could drive down there and be ready to pick it up in the morning. So then I would have about 9 hours. Now, if I waited till the next day, like old school, before the restart, and had 11 hours tomorrow would be a light day. I'd go down there, I'd pick it up, I'd get maybe 200-300 miles down the road, I'd stop. Or I'd push it completely out, and then the following day would be a light day. Now, I'm going to roll over several hours into that following day. So suddenly, on the third day, I'm going to have about 12 to 15 hours. So that's a good day. And if I only use 10 of those, I'm going to roll those hours into that 7 hours. So I'll have a 10 to 12 hour day that day. Yeah, now rolling over your hours is not a bad thing, because 70 hours in 8 days is 70 hours in 8 days. You can get away with not doing a restart here, but I'm so close to it, and my day's already done. I got shut down at 6:30 this morning, so my restart will be done at 4:30 tomorrow afternoon. I absolutely hate doing laundry at the truck stops. Not only are the washers fairly inferior, the guy in there smelled like he peed himself yesterday. I mean, he's just rank. I was like, why don't you go take a shower and with your clothes on? So yeah, I gotta wait for him to go out and smoke a cigarette so I could slide in there, because he really makes you want to throw up. Yeah, that's what I talk about, being professional, when I tell people that it's not my business what's going on with him. It is my business, because he's going to customers just like me, and if him and I go to the same customer, he's fulfilling a stereotype, and stereotypes exist for a reason. I don't care what anybody says. There's no reason to be that disgusting. Now, as I've stated before, I have made a lot of money on recaps, especially that time when they changed the restart rule, when you had to have 2 periods of 1 to 5 to get a restart. I'm glad they quit doing that, because my restart really wouldn't be over till 5 o'clock Wednesday morning. So I would have sat here over 40 hours trying to get a reset. And it would have been done at 5 o'clock Wednesday morning instead of 4:30 tomorrow night. So you can add 34 plus 12. It's at 46 hours, yeah. So yeah, that's just ridiculous. But when you come into situations like this is where you have to be careful. And this is why I talk about looking at your clock, and even when you're getting down to 35 hours, that's when you really that's when you really need to start monitoring every minute that you're doing. And I'm not saying that you got to speed and you got to cut corners and you got to do what you're supposed to be doing, but at the same time, try to cut time where you can. So, something back in the old A-board system before we went full ELD was something I used to call editing on the fly. So, I would do my logbook as tight as I could, no matter what my hours were, because I had to predict every possible. Now, I'm not going to lie. There are things you just can't predict. A buddy of mine, he's running tight. He got stuck in traffic. And he realized the only way to make this load was he had to start doing 7 and 3 splits so he could knock the half-hour break out. And so that's what some guys do. And if you do a 7 and 3 split all the time, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3, you're knocking a half-hour break out, and you're actually saving time that way. And that's what he had to do to make his load, because that getting stuck in traffic was that was a big deal. In fact, he got stuck in 3 separate traffic jams, and the last one was like 3.5, 4 hours. So you can't predict stuff like that. But when you start doing your book and you start getting close on your hours, this is where you have to start pinching hours. This is where you have to start figuring out, like I do when I do my half-hour break. Now, I'm not going to lie. We all have our places that we like to stop. But they're not always on our fuel route, and this is where I've talked about a little bit of planning comes in. I'm going to do my half-hour break. If there's nobody at the fuel island, I'll run, do my fuel real quick, park the truck, get on the app, get my shower, run in, grab my ticket, run in, grab my shower, and usually I can be out of there in about 35, 40 minutes, all in. Yeah, I don't, it's amazing how little it takes to keep all of this looking good. But that way, when I get to the end of the day, I'm not trying to look for a place to stop and get a shower and all that, or I'm not going to have to pay for a shower if I stop at a TA or a Pilot, or even a mom and pop. I've already taken care of what I need to do. Or like in the mornings when you're doing your pre-trip, do your pre-trip and your fueling together, like I said. You can get all of that done real quick. I mean, 15 minutes is better than 30 minutes. So I don't know what your company wants to see, but if you do your pre-trip while you're fueling, pre-trip and fuel, and do your 15 minutes or your 8 minutes or your 20 minutes or whatever they want you to do, it's going to save you 10-15 minutes. And that's 10-15 minutes that you carry over to the next day. So 10 or 15 minutes doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you start adding that up over the period of 3 or 4 days, you know, you've got a couple hours. And when we went full ELD and they started doing a whole bunch of these other updates and stuff like that, I remember telling the boss, I was like, I'm going to probably lose about 3 hours a week because of this. And I was right. I lost right at about 3 hours a week. And it took me a couple months to figure out how to get that back. And everybody's situation is different. So how you get that back depends on what you're doing. And you have to start playing games with the logbook, because you can't change the logbook. You have to change what you're doing. And that's a hard concept for a lot of people. So when you figure it out, you know, you just got to find out what works in the context of your job, because I can do a lot of things, but there's a lot of things my company's not going to be happy that I'm doing. So you have to find that balance, and that's kind of, yeah, that can be tough. But once you find the balance and you don't make a name for yourself, a lot of times they just kind of forget you exist. I like that. So first of all, sorry about the glare. It is hot out there today. But as you get into this business, and you guys have been in this business for a while, you know, every minute, a minute, like I said, a minute's a minute. And learning how to work the logbook to your advantage, to the best of your abilities, it's kind of what I'm getting at. I didn't show a lot of driving on this video. I didn't show a whole lot, but talk about the time. How much is your time worth? How much time can you save? You know, these are questions you have to ask yourself. That's why I talked about even when you don't have to save time and you have plenty of time, go ahead and act like you don't. You just don't know. And that's what I'm getting at. You just don't know. And when it comes to getting, you know, loads and getting paid and getting, time really is money. You know what you need to do per day. You know how much far you need to go. You know where you need to be. And this is why time, I talk about time so much, because being efficient is what makes you money. And learning how to use this logbook to your advantage also makes you a lot of money. I hope it hasn't been too dull. I mean, this is just how I do it. And like I said, every one of these jobs is different. You're going to have to figure out what works best for you. Some guys got it figured out. You know, on days where you can just truck it up, you're not going to waste a lot of time. On days where you got a lot going on and you're going to have to stop a time or two for fuel because you can only put so, like, I've had loads where I've had to stop, put 50 gallons on, get back past the scale, and then put another 50 gallons on. I mean, these things happen. We play these stupid games in this industry all the time. And maybe I ought to do a video on that, just stupid games we play. But that being said, time is time, guys. I want you guys to be efficient. This is how I look at it, and this is how I do it. If you guys got any good ideas on how you do it, cool. I'd be interested to hear it. ELDs are here to say. I don't know what to tell y'all. Everybody keeps screaming they need to go away. They're not going away. But as long as we keep doing what we're supposed to be doing, and as long as we need PC, we need these things, it's kind of where it needs to stay right now, because it's only going to get more restrictive if we keep screwing around with it. So I guess with that, guys, I hope this video has been informal, yeah, informal. That's the word. English, it's a hoot. So I appreciate it, guys. Be profitable out there. I say that a lot, and I really do mean that, just because things are tough. So I just want you guys to do well, and I want you guys to figure out how to maximize your time and your profit, so you guys are profitable and you can max out, even as company drivers. There's ways to max profit as a company driver too. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next video.